If you're going for strength, your reps are not high. You're doing low reps. You're doing 6 reps, 6 reps, 6 reps, 6 reps, 5 to 6 reps if you're going for strength.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
I
here.
said I didn't need the these meetings that we have as frequently, but as summer comes, honestly, I am struggling, and I can see that my progress is going down, which I don't want that to happen. So, if you are free by any chance, if you see that I'm slacking, if you even send me a message, that would really, really like be helpful. Like, okay, what's
Yes,
going on?
that's okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that. And that's why I was saying, like, with this inner circle, that I can be actively engaged, right? Because right now I can only focus on the ones that I'm working on one-on-one. But if I know it's now I have this community of people, I can actually now break it down like, okay, let's do this, this. Let's kind of get there, right? And then if we need to jump on a quick call, I can get on a quick call with you. And then, yeah, because most of the stuff, like when I just look at information, I can tell you like immediately what's going on. Like I can immediately tell you, I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. Da, 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 da. It doesn't take me as much time, but then again, it's stuff that it's taken me years to get to that point, right? So it's asking the right questions, doing the things that are going to move the needle, right? And that's the idea behind like the coaching. It's like it shortens your gap. Your learning curve, right? Like it's like, okay, we squeeze it. I'm like, Annie, do this, do this, do this. And then now if you see the data that I'm looking at, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely I can do that for you. So what we didn't end up going through was can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So what we didn't end up going through was me going through your workouts, because we'd have to go like through your workouts. Maybe we could have gone through each individual day. So when I'm looking at your hip thrusts, yeah, you're doing hip thrusts. Hip thrusts are more of a heavy lift. So it's sort of a compound lift. So you're doing rep ranges of 10 reps, for example, right? I would say, okay, Annie, we're trying to build strength. Let's keep your reps to 6. I want to see this as 6, 6, 6. So I'd come in your program and change this to 6 reps all across. And then now what you need to do is progressively overload on the weight. That's the only thing that you're progressing on, right? Because if you're doing 70 pounds, you progressed on the first set. Second set, why did you stop at 120, right? So do you increase the weight or do you increase the reps? What are you trying to increase? Depends on your goal. What are you trying to do, right? So if you're trying to build, if it's a hypertrophy exercise designed for hypertrophy, we're looking at 10 to 12 reps, right? So, Annie, why do you keep doing 10? Okay, you did 10 here. Okay, boom. Okay, it was a record. That was your best volume. Okay, so maybe this is your PR. You did it twice. Okay, good job. Okay, you did it another one. Okay, good job. So next week, now we're looking at this. We want to see you doing either 120, 130, but your reps, are we doing 10 or 12? Right? Maybe your reps, you're going to go 12, right? You're doing 120, same weight, but maybe you're doing 12. You're going to push for 12 here. Maybe you're going to push for 12 here. And then maybe you're going to push for 12 here. And then the day you can do 12, 12, 12, now we're increasing the weight. Now we're going to 140 or 130. And then so we're now seeing your progression. Like, is this a hypertrophy one or is it a strength one? If it's a strength exercise, let's say, for example, we're doing deadlifts, we're trying to increase strength. And typically for deadlifts, that's what you're going for. It's like 6 reps. So I'd say, Annie, just keep this consistently as 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. And then you now just increase your weight. So if you're 6, 6, 6, 6, I'm like, okay, you can increase your weight here, because also I'm not seeing a PR here. You didn't beat a record here,
Yeah.
right? So I'm
So I
like,
don't
okay,
think I understand. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
How hypertrophy versus strength, and I don't
hmm
even. I didn't know I had to increase. So I don't think I understand that. I probably have to do a little bit of research to understand what that means.
Yeah,
Is how do you know if you need to reduce to increase reps versus weight?
correct. So it depends on your goal.
Okay.
Depends on the exercise. This is now where the coaching comes in, like the training, right?
Oh,
This is now you're learning, okay, precisely. I'm like, Annie, you don't have to guess what you have to do. So
mm,
strength is essentially how much force can you push.
okay.
It doesn't affect how much you can push how many times. That has nothing to do with that. As long as I can push something, I'm strong, right? So bench press, people load up weight to
Yeah.
test their strength, right? It's not
Mm,
about how many reps. It's like one rep max,
yes.
but it gets dangerous because, if you're going on your max, that's how I messed up my
Injury.
chest.
Yeah.
So you don't always want to get to that edge of your strength, right? So because I was also not training for strength, that is the other thing. So if you're
Mm,
going for strength, your reps are not high. You're doing low reps. You're doing 6 reps, 6 reps, six
yeah.
reps, 6 reps, 5 to 6 reps if you're going for strength, right? And then all you're doing now for your sets, you're increasing your weight because you're trying to push more weight in that 5 to 6 reps, right? And then automatically, once you get to the highest weight that you can do for 6 reps, heavy will tell you, okay, best volume, best
Mm,
1 rep max. It'll tell you exactly what your 1 rep. It's an estimated 1 rep max. So that's the safer way to do it. So this is based on the number of reps you did and the weight that you did. So now for a deadlift, it's more of a compound movement. It's not isolating any specific muscle group.
yes. Okay.
So typically for those movements, you're going for strength. You're doing
Mm,
6, 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Right? It can be 5, 6, right? Between 5 to 6 reps. And
heavy.
and heavy. And you're pushing the weight heavy. So you're increasing the weight.
So
Right.
does strength equal? Because my goal is to grow muscle, but I mean, if I could
Mhm.
grow my strength, or like increase my strength, that's perfect.
Mhm.
I don't mind doing that. But what is hypertrophy or whatever?
Hypertrophy is now building the muscle,
Okay.
right? And hypertrophy, it comes down to time under tension.
Mm,
So the time that your muscle is under tension, right? So if you're counting your rep counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So the longer your muscles are under tension, there's a certain point. Technically, you can still build muscle all throughout, but
mm,
there's a sweet spot where you can effectively do enough volume, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a numbers game.
mm,
So if I train in a week, I do all my chest on one day, but I'm just dedicating one day to chest, and I do as many sets as I need to. And the difference between someone who's splitting them up throughout the
mm.
week, technically you might end up being in about the same ballpark, right?
Okay.
So it comes down to cumulatively in a period, how much have you done volume? So now we're counting number of sets. How many sets have you done, right, for this workout, for this week, for this particular muscle group? How many sets have you done? So you know how I was looking at how many sets you've done for each
Yeah.
muscle group. So
Yeah.
technically that muscle group is what's going to develop more on your body,
Mm,
right? So if it's a weak point on your muscle, on your body, that's what you want to focus on, putting more volume on, more sets on. If it's the weak point of your muscle, of your body, the stronger points of your body, you don't want to do as much because they will quickly respond. So the less responsive parts, those are the ones that you want to focus more volume on, more sets on, right? So when it comes to things like, let's say, deadlifts, squats, those are strength movements, right? So you are more so working out your entire body. So you want to focus on building strength on those exercises. And then now, because you're talking about building a particular muscle on your body, right?
Yeah.
It's now looking at, okay, hip thrusts. Maybe let's go hypertrophy. Let's focus on hypertrophy, right? So now I want to keep my rep ranges in the 10 to 12 reps because the time it takes to do 6 reps versus the time it takes to do 12 reps, roughly double or a little bit more, right? So if you're looking at doing 12 reps, maybe by the end of it, you're doing maybe a minute for a set, right? That's the time that you're doing. So it means that, okay, now I'm kind of getting to the end of my ability to move this weight for as much as I can, because with the time under tension, what you're trying to do, it's like the muscle fibers, it's micro tears in your muscles. I know, yeah, you've heard that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So it takes time to develop those micro tears, right? If I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'll maybe have some micro tears, but okay, now I'm off the weight. But I want to keep
Yes.
that muscle in a bit of tension, but controlled tension, controlled, so you're not going as heavy, so that you can keep the muscle under tension in a controlled way. And then if you do deadlifts, you're doing deadlifts, but then it's like, what are you trying to really get? Where are you trying to get those micro tears, right? Because you're doing such a almost like a full body workout.
Yeah.
So it's like focus on strength, right? You and don't get me wrong, like don't think that if you do just the 6 reps, you're not going to build some muscle. You still will build the muscle.
You build it either way. It's just, I guess, how you get there.
How you
Not
get
how
there,
you get
yeah.
there, but like
It's
I get what you're
effectiveness and
saying.
efficiency, right? It's just more the efficiency, the time, right? How you're getting there. Yeah. So technically, if we're looking at your time in the gym, we can also increase your time in the gym, right? Like if we're saying, okay, Annie's doing mainly 3 sets, maybe let's bump up your volume to 4 sets, right, in your workouts. Let's see how much longer does that take Annie to do. Okay, maybe you're hitting an hour, 30 minutes per week. I mean, per workout. So in 2 workouts, you're hitting 3 hours, right? So essentially, it comes down to those simple stats. When I look at it, it's like, okay, there's this one workout, but how much are we actually getting in a week? How much are we getting in a month? Right. And then when you start seeing that, then you can extrapolate it to what are the results that you can end up seeing.
Wow. Yeah. This definitely changes the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking at this, I'm like, okay, Annie, I think we need to put 4 sets, right? I think you have, ability to push, and you're doing 50, 50, 50. I'm like, okay, no, let's increase this. It's either we increase the reps, right? Like this one, we need to really understand where you are, right? Because heavy is great, because if you really push yourself, it'll tell you, okay, PR, 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 right? And then, yeah, so if I'm looking at this, I wouldn't go 8 reps. If I'm doing 45, I'm doing 8 reps. And I'm doing that over and over, like this one. Maybe because it's the end of the workout, right? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But we're not, we shouldn't be seeing, if you want to progressively overload and make the most, don't do the same weight, like more than
all the sets.
3 times for all the sets. Yeah, like add another 4th set.